Hey y'all, I'm Mickey Gousset. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about how GitHub Copilot can help you troubleshoot your GitHub Action failures. This feature is officially generally available. If you've ever spent hours debugging failed workflows, this video is going to save you a ton of time. For those who might be new here, let's start with a quick overview of GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot is an AI pair programmer developed by GitHub. It's designed to assist developers by suggesting code completions as you type, generating entire functions based on comments, helping with code refactoring, providing documentation and explanations, and now analyzing GitHub Action job failures. Copilot integrates directly into your development environment, whether that's Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, JetBrains IDEs, or directly within GitHub's web interface. Think of it as having an experienced developer looking over your shoulder, ready to help whenever you need it. Now, let's talk about GitHub Actions. Actions is GitHub's built-in CI/CD solution that automates your build, test, and deployment pipeline. Actions uses workflows defined in YAML files to run a series of jobs when triggered by events like pushes, pull requests, or scheduling. But, as we know, workflows can fail for countless reasons: environment issues, syntax errors, dependency problems, test failures. And debugging these failures often means digging through logs, trying to find the needle in the haystack. That is where Copilot's new capability comes in. The ability to ask Copilot about GitHub Actions job failures is now generally available. This means Copilot can analyze your failed workflow runs, understand the error patterns, and provide you with clear explanations of what went wrong, root cause analysis, suggested fixes for your workflow files, and contextual recommendations. This feature works directly in your GitHub repository when viewing workflow runs. Copilot accesses the logs, understands your workflow configuration, and leverages its knowledge of common GitHub Actions, patterns, and issues to give you targeted advice. Now, what makes this particularly powerful is that Copilot isn't just looking at the error message. It's analyzing the entire context of your workflow, including steps that ran before the failure, your repository structure, and common patterns in similar projects. So, let's see this in action. But fair warning, I'm doing something a little bit different with this demo. I'm basically doing it live, no practice. I've asked AI for some code files that will end up with a broken workflow, and we together are going to see if we can get it working. It's the first time I've seen these particular files. Here we go. Now, here's the deal. I haven't actually done this demo yet. I used AI to generate some code for me that would potentially show what I want to show, which is the whole Copilot helping you solve problems with your GitHub Actions. But obviously I needed some code to do that. So it has generated me some JavaScript/Node code. I don't know JavaScript. I don't know Node. So we're going to see if we can take this code that it's given me, and we're going to just hack at it for about the next, I'm capping myself at maybe 30 minutes. I'm hoping it won't take that long, but we're just going to hack at it and see what happens. So this could be either extremely embarrassing, extremely fun, or both. So we need a repo, right? So let's call this Copilot in Actions. And we're going to make it public so you can see all of my shame. We'll add a README, and we will come out here and add a node gitignore file. We're going to create that repository. Okay, so it has me creating 3 files initially. So why don't we hit the period on my keyboard. And you'll notice that changes from github.com to github.dev. And now we get VS Code Lite. That's what I like to call it. This is built in. This doesn't have compute behind it, so you can't do debugging, anything like that, but it's great for when you want to edit multiple files. All right, so we're going to add a new file and we're going to call it package.json, and it told me to add this code. Obviously it's telling me what's missing, but we're going to go ahead and just remove even that little hint right now, and we'll save this. It tells me I need to add an index.js file in a source folder. So we're going to create a source folder, and then in that source folder, we're going to create a new file and we'll call it index.js. And the code that it gave me for the index.js file is right here. And then finally, we need a workflow file. So let's see, the code that it gave me for the workflow file is going to be, we need to create a new folder. We'll call it .github/workflows. And then in the workflows folder, we're going to create a new file and we'll just call this main.yaml. And we're going to grab this code. And again, this also has a hint as to where there may be a problem, but we're just going to rip that hint out for now. So these are the three files that it told me to start with. Now notice this workflow file is going to trigger on anytime we push to main or do a pull request to main. Just for grins, I will add a workflow dispatch, but I don't know if I'll ever need it. But that does give me a chance to run it manually. All right, so let's come over here. Let's stage our changes. We'll call this the initial version. And we're going to commit this to the repository. Now, committing this to the repository, if we change this back to be github.com as opposed to dev, takes me back to the repository view. And let's blow this up a little bit. If I go to the Actions tab, then we can see that our workflow is running as we would expect. So let's see what it comes back and tells us is the problem with our workflow and how we might fix it. All right, so if we look at our workflow file itself, you'll notice we've got our build job. And we'll notice that the install dependencies failed. Well, if I look at this, it looks like I'm missing a package lock.json. But just, I want to be sure. So I want Copilot to tell me what the problem is and how I should fix it. So you'll notice I have a button over here now called Explain Error. So I'm going to say explain this error. And you'll notice the explain error, it sets the prompt for me. Find a solution to the failing job, use whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to come back and it's going to say it's failing at the npm CI step. It says make sure all my dependencies in the package JSON are correct. Well, I hope they are. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Tells me to potentially clean the cache. Sometimes cleaning the cache can solve the issue. Let's see. Update npm. Add more logs to understand what's happening during the npm CI step. So this has me clean the cache, updating npm, installing dependencies. Oh. Am I not installing my dependencies? But I am running an npm CI. I don't think that's going to be the problem. Let's go back to explaining this code. Let's give it another shot. I think it's because I don't have a package lock.json. I think I need a package lock.json. Ah, there we go. Regenerate package lock.json. So see, it did find one of the potential things this could be. Sometimes you need to regenerate it by delete. I don't even have one. So I need a package lock.json. And apparently I need to do an npm install to create a package lock.json. Great. Okay. So that means I need to go find my terminal window. And let's go over here to my terminal window. First off, move that out of the way. Let's go back over here. We're going to need to pull this down so that we can run that npm install. So you go away. And we're going to go to code, copy this URL, and let's do and let's pull this over here. And now in my terminal window, make it a little bit bigger, blow it up just a little bit. And we're going to clone this repo down. And then we're going to do a npm install. All right, so npm install did in fact create a package lock.json file for me, which is what I want. If I do a git status, then that's the only file that I need to add. So we'll do a git add dot. We'll do a git commit -m created package lock.json. We do a git push. All right, so we push that back up, which pushing it back up should have it run again. So let's see, now that we have a package lock.json in place, let's see what that does to help with what we're trying to do. All right, it failed again. So let's go look. Different error, missing script test, but I don't really know what that means either. So hey, once again, I will come over here and click the explain error button to open up Copilot and have it help me with what the problem might be. So this says the job is failing during the npm run command. It's trying to run test and then do a build, but the JSON only includes the express dependency and doesn't specify scripts for test or build. So to resolve this, we need to add those scripts. So it gives me an example of adding those scripts to my package.json file. Add these to package.json file and push them to your repo. All right, let's go give that a try. What we're going to do is just open this up in a new tab. And let's open up our package.json file, and we'll just edit it right here. If we come back over, then after main, well, we'll just copy all of this, right? Why not? So if we edit this, then we can see it added in a script. Now it looks like build is going to echo out building the project and say exit 0, which means it would continue. Test is going to say echo there's no test specified and exit 1. Now you probably, I guess, would put tests here if you had them. I don't have them. That's fine. But exit 1 is still going to make the workflow fail, and I don't want it to pass. So I'm going to say this intentionally passing this step. And I'm going to change this to be a 0. I'm going to say building this project. There we go. So now these, when it hits these test and build, it should write those messages out and then still continue on. It won't fail the step. So let's commit these changes. Again, committing directly to the main branch. And if we go back to the Actions tab, we'll now see that, once again, we are running our demo. Let's go to work. Let's go watch the job run. Let's see what happens. Oh. So the build step failed. Unknown command build. Run npm build. Oh, so, well, it is prompted me, hey, maybe this is what you meant. But you know what? I still kind of want Copilot to help me with this. So we can open up Copilot and I can say, what is wrong with this build step? I don't think that's the problem. Interesting. Because I do have that defined. So let's go to the workflow file, because it's saying this build step is where it's failing. So what is wrong with the build step in the workflow file? Let's see if what that finds for us. Interesting. Doesn't that step need to be npm run build? Okay. And the reason I asked it that is because, it suggested it should be npm run build. Copilot kept recommending that it should be that I needed to add the build step to the package.json, which is already there. So I think maybe it just wasn't getting enough of the right context to answer the question for me. In fact, I could say, let's try this. I am getting the following error. How do I fix it? Oh, and that started giving me all kind of stuff that I don't necessarily. Now, I suspect some of this might be good, but well, we're just going to go edit the workflow file since we know what the solution is here. It should be npm run build. Let's commit those changes. Commit directly to the main branch. Again, if we go back to actions, it's going to run again. So let's see what we got. Okay. And we now see that it fixed our code. So, what did we learn from all this? We learned that we do have a button over here that we can see. So like if we go to a failed workflow, we do have a button over here that we can use to ask GitHub to look at the log files, and it will do its best to explain why the action failed. We also saw that sometimes it's not getting all of the context or enough context to give us exactly the answer that we want, which goes to show why you have to make sure when you're using these AI coding tools that you provide it with the information that it needs to be able to answer the question. But it is an example of how to use Copilot in your GitHub Actions to help you try to solve the problems that you're encountering. Now, another option you could have done instead of using the button right here in the GUI is you could have also opened this up in, say, VS Code, and you could have highlighted where it was saying it was failing in the workflow, and you could ask Copilot, hey, what's wrong with this code? All right, again, since we have no script, let's go try that too, just because we can. All right, so I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to open this up in VS Code. Well, hold on a second. I'm running Windows Subsystem for Linux. It's got to download it and then upload it. Or not, it's got to download the latest version and then install the latest version. So give it just a moment. All right, we're going to open up VS Code, opening up that particular repository that I had pulled down. And let's go get the error that we were getting. So while that's opening, let's come back over here to Actions. And let's open up this one that failed. And we'll grab this code, just so we have it. Now let's go back to VS Code. So here we are in VS Code. We'll make this a little bit bigger. And let's open the main.yaml file first. And let's just highlight this code. Let's come over here to Copilot. Open chat. Oh, let's get signed in. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to say, can you tell me what might be wrong with the code I've selected? Let's just see if it comes up with anything. See, there's an error in the build command. The correct npm command should be npm run build. So you can see here, using Copilot chat, it directly took me to the answer. And we know that this fixed it. So this is another way that you can potentially use Copilot to help you, not just with writing code, but to help you with debugging code or help you with solving problems that have been found in your code. This new capability from GitHub Copilot offers several key benefits. Time savings. Quickly understand errors without parsing through lengthy logs. Educational value. Learn why errors occur and how to fix them. Consistency. Get reliable advice based on GitHub's vast knowledge of actions. Contextual awareness. Copilot considers your specific repository structure. However, it is worth noting a few limitations. Copilot may not catch every issue, especially in complex workflows. For custom or unique setups, you might still need to do some manual debugging. And you need a Copilot subscription to access this feature. And there you have it. GitHub Copilot can now help you debug your GitHub Action failures, saving you time and frustration. If you're already using Copilot, this feature should be available to you now. What do you think about this new feature? Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more content about GitHub Copilot, GitHub Actions, or any technology for that matter, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and let me know what you want to see. Thanks for watching.